gadget of the day.
New tech you might want to play with.
Pulse 95.
New tech you might want to play with or even wear. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about this new material that could measure your heart rate right through your shirt. A group of researchers have developed a new material that they say is as soft as cotton, but as strong as Kevlar. Now, for those who don't know what Kevlar is, it's basically body armor.
Ooh.
It, like let's say, for example, Omnia,
Like made out of metal.
like body armor, like, bulletproof armor, Kevlar.
Oh, wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, so it's not metal, it's just bulletproof armor.
Yeah. So it's like very thick material.
Yeah, very thick material, and it's as conductive as many metals. It can be worn and washed just like normal clothing and could eventually turn athletic apparel into smart wearables. Now, they call this carbon nanotube threads, and they work very similar to wires.
Yes, and they work similarly to the wires that are found in the EKG machine, which basically it's a device that measures your heart rhythms to detect if you have any irregular heartbeat or irregular heart conditions. Now, instead of having those wires, I'm not sure if you've ever had an EKG done, Hani, but usually they would stick them onto your chest to kind of measure your heart rate, and they're usually patched on the skin. You'd have to go to the hospital to be able to do it. Now, all these wires are actually sewn into that t-shirt, so you can wear it like you would a normal t-shirt, normal athletic wear, and according to the new study, these wires would be able to measure your heart rate very seamlessly. Now, unlike wires, these threads are actually very comfortably worn with, or they're
not as bulky.
Yeah, they're not as bulky. They're not as uncomfortable as getting an EKG. It can be washed, it can be stretched, it can be worn repeatedly without breaking down, which personally, I feel like this is such an interesting way to measure your heart rate. No, put aside sports-wise or athletic-wise, it would be great to measure your heart rate for that. But I feel like, especially for patients who struggle with, heart diseases, this would be an immense help for them instead of having to go to the hospital every single time they need to get an EKG.
Yeah, now a lot of researchers are saying, or experts are saying that, another interesting application of this technology is that they can use them for next generation military uniforms. Now, believe it or not, technology was actually, accelerated because of military use, right?
Yes.
A lot of government armies and militaries, they wanted, the best equipment because
Robots.
At one point in time, a normal gun wouldn't do the job. You needed to go deeper and deeper. Now, just a fun fact, worldwide spending on wearable devices is expected to grow up to 18% to $81.5 billion just this year, 2021, and another 15% in 2022. Now, many tech companies have invested in building similar capabilities into devices, and we do know that the Apple Watch does introduce heart monitoring, and that was all the way back in 2018, and even added other medical functionalities. And in 2019, believe it or not, Google did announce plans to buy Fitbit, and I didn't know Google owned Fitbit, by the way.
Oh, they do.
I didn't know that. And they completed earlier this year the same type of technology. So, obviously the stepping stone was watches, rings, and then obviously when you're going to start flying is going to be shirts, wearables. And I think we're going to look at maybe even armbands, because sometimes you check your blood pressure when you go to the hospital. I don't know what they call it. They put an armband around you.
Yeah, it's like it's a blood pressure cuff.
Blood pressure cuff, and then imagine you have a t-shirt cuff that does the same.
Oh, that's going to be interesting. I'm excited to see if it's going to be able to measure other vitals as well, apart from just your heart rate, maybe body temperature. Who knows? Let us know if you would love to get your hands on one of those shirts. Our text lines are open, 4215, do it a lot, or send into our DMs at Pulse 95 Radio.
If you liked this episode of Future Talk, drop a like and subscribe.
Pulse 95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.